It was quite literally a perfect stage. The lights hit, tens of thousands screaming, and there, center stage, a 19-year-old kid smiling. The jacket was custom tailored. Not a single hair out of place, every camera angle, flawless. But that jacket, it was that. That hair, that. The meals, the sneakers, every choreography drilled into his body, all of it, that. The person you called a star was never a star. He was a $70,000 debtor. Tonight, I'm going to lay all of it out. This won't be comfortable, especially if you're a K-pop fan. What I have to say tonight isn't emotional. I'm not here to tell you a sad story. I'm here to explain a system. Because once you understand the system, you don't need the sad stories. The system is the sad story. I want to walk you through how the Korean idol industry actually operates. Let's start. Everyone talks about the 7-year contract, but the 7-year contract is not the problem. The problem is 18 months. That's how long a new group actually gets. Not to become famous, not to build a fan base. 18 months to prove on a spreadsheet that they're worth keeping alive. A mid-tier company, not the big four, but the middle layer where the vast majority of idols exist, runs a portfolio model. They invest in multiple groups, simultaneously knowing most will fail. Like any investor, they need returns within a defined window or they reallocate. That window is roughly a year and a half from debut. If the numbers don't hit, the company doesn't disband you. Disbandment is public. It's messy. It makes the company look like it failed. Instead, they do something quieter. They just stop. Calls go unanswered. Comebacks get shelved. Your choreographer gets reassigned to the group that is making money. No one tells you it's over. You just slowly figure it out on your own. I've watched this happen from the inside, producing tracks that got shelved because the group they were meant for had been quietly deprioritized. The song exists. The choreography was halfway done. The teasers might have been shot. But someone looked at a spreadsheet and the numbers said stop. And here's the cruel part. Your contract doesn't end. You can't leave. You can't sign with anyone else. You can't release music on your own. You belong to a company that has already forgotten you exist. The 7-year contract is the cage. The 18 months is the trial. Most idols don't even know they're being judged until the verdict is already in. Now the money. When a company takes you in as a trainee, usually between 12 and 17 years old, they start investing. Vocal lessons, dance lessons, language classes, acting coaches, housing, food, clothes, transportation. All of it gets recorded, not as investment, as debt, your debt. By debut, the average trainee owes $50,000 to $100,000. At larger companies with longer training periods, significantly more. And every dollar you earn goes straight back to the company until that debt is cleared. The company decides what counts as an expense. The company decides when it's paid off. There is no independent audit, no third-party oversight. You are trusting the same entity that profits from your debt to honestly tell you when that debt is done. The idol almost never sees an itemized breakdown. The contract gives the company broad discretion, and the trainee has no leverage to question it. Some companies are fair about this. I know agencies where the accounting is transparent. But the structural incentive is obvious. The longer the debt lasts, the longer the idol works without pay, and the longer the idol stays compliant. Because you can't afford to cause problems when you owe your employer $70,000. You don't need to threaten someone to control them. You just need to make sure a 20-year-old has no way to verify the balance. Compliance becomes automatic. Obedience becomes the only financially rational behavior. From the outside, that 20-year-old looks like a global star. Designer clothes, world tours, private cars. The gap between what you see and what's actually happening is not a gap. It's a canyon. And thousands of kids, right now, tonight, in dormitories across Seoul, are living inside that canyon, wearing borrowed clothes, eating borrowed food, practicing borrowed choreography. All for the privilege of being in debt to the company that will, statistically, goes to them within 18 months. Let's say you survive, the group hits its numbers. You ride the wave for 4-5 years. Then the market moves on. You're 25, you're out. Now what? You've been in the system since you were 12. Every decision, what you eat, what you wear, when you sleep, who you talk to, what you post online was made for you. Not out of kindness, out of efficiency. An idol worrying about groceries is an idol not in the practice room. For the entirety of your adolescence and early 20s, every executive function a normal person develops through trial and error. Budgeting, cooking, navigating a bus route, going to a doctor alone, was handled by someone else. So the machine spits out a 25-year-old who has never signed a lease, never had a job interview, doesn't know how insurance works, has never filled out a government form without help, and whose entire social identity for the past decade has been one word: idol. Not a job title, a complete identity. When that identity is removed, what's left isn't a blank slate. It's a person who has been trained out of the skills that make normal life functional. I know former idols in their 30s who still call their old manager to figure out basic tasks. I know former idols who can perform for 20,000 people but have a panic attack at a bank. I know former idols who can't hold a personal relationship because the only model they understand is hierarchical. Senior, junior, company talent, performer audience. The system doesn't produce artists, it produces a product. And when the product expires, it gets left on the shelf. No transition program, no counseling, no support. You're just no longer useful. And now, the part that might make you uncomfortable. Everything I just described, the 18-month window, the debt, the institutionalization, none of it is a malfunction. The system is not broken. The system is optimized for you. You click the fan cam because the idol looks perfect. You buy the photocard of a 19-year-old whose every detail has been engineered. You stream the album on repeat because winning feels personal. The industry doesn't guess what you want. It knows. Because it has decades of market data telling it exactly what sells. And what sells, overwhelmingly and consistently, is flawless youth. Not artistry, not musicianship. Flawless youth, smooth skin, perfect bodies, relentless energy, absolute emotional availability, zero public imperfection. Producing that product requires everything I just described. Taking children, financing their transformation through debt, controlling them through confinement, and discarding them when their youth is no longer marketable. The company is the middleman. The idol is the raw material. You are the customer. Every time you rank a new group by visuals, the industry takes notes. Every time you praise an idol's extreme diet because they look amazing on stage, the industry takes notes. Every time you treat aging like a flaw an idol managed to survive, the industry takes notes. The machine is listening, it always has been, and it builds the next cycle based on exactly what you rewarded in the last one. I'm not asking you to feel guilty. Guilt has never restructured an industry. I'm asking you to be honest about the transaction. The version of K-pop that exists today, with the debt, the 18-month clocks, the 25-year-olds who can't use a bus, exists because it is the most efficient system ever built for converting youth into the product you've shown you'll pay for. If the demand changes, the supply changes. That's not idealism. That's economics. But the demand hasn't changed in 20 years. It's only gotten bigger. More platforms, more money, more kids walking through those doors every year, willing to trade their adolescence for something they saw in a music video, and more audiences ready to consume whatever walks out. That's it. No call to action, no petition, just a diagram of a machine. I think you should understand before you decide how you feel about it. Thanks for sitting with this.